Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a life where your inner voice is your biggest cheerleader, not your harshest critic. A life where your thoughts lift you up instead of holding you down. This is possible when you love yourself enough to stop scaring yourself. Too often we let fear dominate our inner dialogue. We whisper to ourselves, "What if I fail or I'm not good enough?" These thoughts aren't truths, they are habits, patterns we've learned over time. But here's the empowering truth: habits can be changed. Self-talk is one of the most powerful tools we have. If you've been scaring yourself with negative thoughts, it's time to flip the script. Start each day with affirmations like, "I am safe," or "I trust life to support me." These simple yet profound statements have the power to shift your mindset and create a foundation of self-love and courage. Many of the fears we carry aren't even ours, they're echoes of the past. Perhaps someone once told you that you weren't enough, and now that voice has become your own. But you are not your past. You are not the mistakes you've made or the fears you've inherited. Healing your inner child, acknowledging and comforting the scared part of yourself can free you from these old patterns. When you stop scaring yourself, you create room for growth. Self-love isn't about ignoring your flaws, it's about embracing your humanity. It's about knowing that even in your imperfections, you are worthy. Fear often takes us out of the present moment, dragging us into the regret of yesterday or the uncertainty of tomorrow. But the present is where life happens. Practice mindfulness. Anchor yourself in the now. When you do, you'll realize that most of the things you fear are either illusions or things you have the strength to overcome. Remember this: you have a choice. Every thought you think is a choice. You can choose fear, or you can choose love. Choose to believe in yourself. Choose to support yourself. When you make that choice, everything in your life will start to align with that love. So today I invite you to make a promise to yourself. I will no longer scare myself. Speak kindly to yourself. Love yourself enough to break free from fear, because you deserve a life filled with peace, joy, and self-compassion. Self-talk is the silent conversation we have with ourselves every day, shaping the lens through which we see the world and ourselves. It is a subtle yet profoundly influential force, one that can either build us up or tear us down. When left unchecked, negative self-talk can become a habit that creates a reality filled with fear, doubt, and limitations. However, when transformed, it has the power to heal, uplift, and guide us toward a life of fulfillment and peace. Self-talk reflects what we believe about ourselves. If you often catch yourself thinking, "I can't do this," or "I'm not good enough," these thoughts may feel like truths, but they are not. They are merely repeated patterns, stories we tell ourselves based on past experiences, societal conditioning, or learned behaviors. Just as we learn to tie our shoes or drive a car, we also learn how to think about ourselves. The good news is, just as we can learn something new, we can also unlearn what no longer serves us. Negative self-talk is insidious. It often sneaks in during moments of vulnerability or when we face challenges. Perhaps you've experienced this yourself. You're about to try something new, and instead of encouragement, your mind fills with warnings of failure or judgment. These inner whispers, while seemingly protective, are often rooted in fear. They aim to keep us within the bounds of what feels safe and familiar, even if those bounds are limiting. What's important to understand is that self-talk doesn't merely reflect our thoughts, it actively shapes them. When you repeatedly tell yourself, "I'm not capable," your mind begins to accept this as fact, and your actions or lack thereof start to align with that belief. This is the self-fulfilling prophecy at work. If you tell yourself you'll fail, you're less likely to take the necessary steps to succeed, reinforcing the very fear you were trying to avoid. Now imagine flipping that narrative. What if, instead of thinking, "I can't do this," you told yourself, "I'll give it my best effort"? This small shift creates a space for possibility. It doesn't deny challenges or struggles, but it reframes them in a way that empowers rather than discourages. Positive self-talk is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing thoughts that support and uplift you even in difficult times. Affirmations are a powerful tool for transforming self-talk. When you affirm positive statements about yourself, you begin to create new mental pathways, replacing old, limiting beliefs with empowering ones. For example, if you struggle with self-doubt, you might affirm, I am capable and strong. If fear often holds you back, you could say, I trust myself to handle whatever comes my way. These affirmations may feel awkward at first, especially if they contradict your current beliefs, but consistency is key. The more you practice, the more natural they become, and over time, your inner dialogue will begin to reflect these affirmations as truths. Another crucial aspect of self-talk is self-awareness. Many of us are so accustomed to our inner dialogue that we rarely stop to question it. Pay attention to the words you use when you think about yourself. Are they kind and supportive, or are they harsh and critical? Awareness is the first step toward change. Once you become conscious of your negative self-talk, you can challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought really true? Or would I say this to someone I love? These questions can help you see your thoughts for what they often are: distorted perceptions, not facts. It's also helpful to consider where these negative thoughts come from. Often they stem from childhood experiences or external influences. Perhaps you were criticized by a parent, teacher, or peer, and those words became internalized as your own. Recognizing the origin of these thoughts can help you separate them from your true self. You are not the voice of your fear or doubt. You are the one who hears it. And because you are the observer, you have the power to change the narrative. The impact of positive self-talk extends far beyond your internal world. When you speak kindly to yourself, you build a foundation of self-respect and confidence that influences how you interact with others and approach life's challenges. It creates a ripple effect, improving your relationships, your decisions, and your overall well-being. Conversely, when your self-talk is negative, it can lead to self-sabotage, missed opportunities, and a diminished sense of self-worth. The transformation of self-talk requires patience and practice. It's not about eliminating every negative thought that's unrealistic, but about choosing to respond to those thoughts with compassion and intentionality. When a critical thought arises, counter it with a supportive one. When fear speaks, respond with courage. This is the essence of self-love in action, choosing to be your own advocate rather than your own adversary. Self-talk is not just about words, it's about the relationship you have with yourself. By nurturing a dialogue of kindness, encouragement, and belief, you create an inner environment where you can thrive. The power of self-talk lies in its ability to shape not only how you see yourself, but also the life you create. So choose your words wisely. They have the power to transform everything. Self-sabotage is a silent disruptor, often operating beneath the surface of our awareness. It shows up in the decisions we make, the habits we form, and the opportunities we let slip away. At its core, self-sabotage stems from fear, insecurity, or deep-seated belief that we are not worthy of success, happiness, or love. Recognizing this behavior is the first step toward freeing ourselves from its grip and stepping into the life we truly desire. One of the most challenging aspects of self-sabotage is its subtlety. It doesn't always announce itself as destructive behavior. Instead, it masquerades as procrastination, perfectionism, or even logic. Imagine wanting to pursue a dream but constantly delaying action because the timing doesn't feel perfect. Or consider a situation where you've been given a wonderful opportunity, yet you hesitate, telling yourself you're not ready. These moments may feel justified in the moment, but upon reflection, they often reveal a deeper fear of stepping outside your comfort zone or risking failure. Self-sabotage also thrives in the patterns we repeat. Perhaps you find yourself stuck in a cycle of starting and abandoning projects or entering relationships that mimic the same unfulfilling dynamics. These patterns can feel frustratingly familiar, yet difficult to break. Why? Because they are often rooted in unconscious beliefs we've held for years. If you believe, for example, that success will lead to overwhelming responsibilities or that love inevitably brings pain, you may unconsciously create situations that align with these beliefs, even when they contradict your conscious desires. Recognizing self-sabotage requires honesty and introspection. It asks us to examine our behaviors and question the motives behind them. Are you truly too busy to work on your goals, or are you avoiding the discomfort of growth? Are you aiming for perfection because it's a standard you genuinely value, or are you afraid of being judged if your efforts fall short? These questions can be uncomfortable to confront, but they are necessary to uncover the hidden fears and limiting beliefs driving self-sabotage. Another hallmark of self-sabotage is the presence of an inner critic. This voice often whispers thoughts of doubt and inadequacy, convincing you that you're not capable, deserving, or ready. It might say things like, "You'll fail, so why bother trying?" Or if you succeed, people will expect more from you and you won't be able to handle it. These thoughts may feel protective, as though they are shielding you from disappointment, but in reality, they are barriers that keep you from reaching your potential. Fear is a common thread in self-sabotage. It might be the fear of failure, rejection, or even success. Yes, success can be as intimidating as failure, especially if it challenges the identity or narrative you've held about yourself. If you've always seen yourself as someone who struggles, the idea of thriving might feel foreign or even unsafe. This fear of the unfamiliar can lead to behaviors that keep you anchored in the status quo, even when that status quo is uncomfortable or unfulfilling. Recognizing self-sabotage also involves identifying the emotions and triggers that precede it. For instance, do you find yourself overeating or avoiding tasks after a stressful day? Do you shut down emotionally when someone gets too close? These actions might seem unrelated to self-sabotage at first glance, but they often point to underlying fears or unprocessed emotions. By paying attention to these patterns, you can begin to uncover the deeper issues that fuel them. Compassion is a crucial part of this process. It's easy to judge yourself harshly once you realize you've been sabotaging your own efforts. You might feel frustrated or even ashamed, wondering why you would act against your own interests. But self-sabotage is rarely intentional. It's often a learned response developed as a way to cope with past experiences or protect yourself from perceived threats. Recognizing this allows you to approach the process of change with kindness and understanding. To move beyond self-sabotage, you must replace the behaviors and beliefs that no longer serve you with ones that align with your goals and values. This begins with small, intentional actions. If procrastination is a form of self-sabotage for you, start by committing to just 5 minutes of focused work on your task. If fear of failure holds you back, remind yourself that mistakes are a natural part of growth and learning. These small shifts, repeated consistently, create new patterns that gradually replace the old ones. It's also helpful to surround yourself with people who uplift and support you. Self-sabotage often thrives in isolation, where doubts can go unchecked and fears can grow unchecked. By sharing your goals and struggles with trusted friends, mentors, or a therapist, you gain perspective and accountability. Others can often see the patterns you may overlook and provide encouragement when you falter. Recognizing self-sabotage is not about finding fault with yourself, but about understanding yourself on a deeper level. It's about peeling back the layers of fear and doubt to uncover the truth of who you are and what you are capable of. When you shine a light on self-sabotage, it loses its power. You begin to see that the barriers you thought were insurmountable were often of your own making, and that you have the strength and wisdom to dismantle them. Freeing yourself from self-sabotage is an act of self-love. It's a declaration that you are worthy of success, happiness, and fulfillment. By recognizing and addressing the behaviors that hold you back, you reclaim your power and open the door to the life you've always wanted. Healing the inner child is a profound journey of self-discovery, self-compassion, and transformation. At the heart of this process is the recognition that within each of us exists a younger version of ourselves, one who carries the experiences, emotions, and beliefs formed during our formative years. These early influences shape our sense of self, how we relate to others, and how we navigate the world. When the inner child is wounded by neglect, criticism, trauma, or unmet needs, those wounds often linger into adulthood, manifesting as fear, insecurity, or self-sabotaging behaviors. The inner child is not a separate entity, but an integral part of who we are. It holds the memories of joy, curiosity, and wonder from childhood, but also the pain, confusion, and unmet needs. When we feel unworthy, rejected, or fearful without fully understanding why, it is often the inner child crying out for attention and healing. Acknowledging this part of ourselves is the first step in the healing process. It is not about blaming others for what we experience, but about taking responsibility for nurturing and supporting ourselves in the present. Many of the fears and limiting beliefs we carry as adults stem from unmet needs or unresolved experiences from childhood. For example, if you grew up in an environment where love was conditional or inconsistent, you might have internalized the belief that you need to earn love or prove your worth. If you were criticized or dismissed as a child, you might struggle with self-doubt or a fear of failure as an adult. These beliefs and fears often operate beneath the surface, influencing our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without our conscious awareness. Another essential aspect of inner child healing is validating the emotions you felt as a child. Many of us were taught to suppress or dismiss our feelings, either by external influences or our own coping mechanisms. Phrases like "don't cry" or "it's not a big deal" may have taught us to minimize our emotional experiences. As adults, this can lead to difficulty expressing or even recognizing our feelings. Healing the inner child means giving yourself permission to feel and process those emotions now. If you felt sadness, anger, or fear as a child, acknowledge those feelings as valid and allow yourself to process them in a safe and supportive way. Inner child wounds are often perpetuated by self-criticism and judgment in adulthood. When we speak harshly to ourselves or set unrealistically high expectations, we reinforce the sense of inadequacy or unworthiness that the inner child may already feel. Healing involves replacing this critical voice with one of kindness and encouragement. Treat yourself as you would a young child who is learning and growing, offering patience and understanding rather than judgment. This shift in self-talk not only supports the inner child, but also fosters a healthier relationship with yourself overall. Healing the inner child also requires understanding the patterns and triggers that stem from past experiences. For example, you might notice that certain situations evoke strong emotional reactions that seem disproportionate to the present circumstances. Perhaps a disagreement with a partner leaves you feeling abandoned, or a critical comment from a colleague triggers intense self-doubt. These reactions are often rooted in unresolved childhood wounds. By identifying and addressing these triggers, you can begin to respond to present situations from a place of awareness and self-compassion rather than unconscious pain. Boundaries play a crucial role in inner child healing. Many childhood wounds are the result of boundary violations, whether emotional, physical, or relational. As adults, we have the power to set and enforce boundaries that protect our well-being and honor our needs. This is not only an act of self-respect, but also a way of teaching the inner child that their feelings and needs matter. Establishing boundaries might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you were taught to prioritize others' needs over your own, but it is a vital part of reclaiming your sense of agency and self-worth. The journey of healing the inner child is not linear or quick. It requires patience, commitment, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable emotions and memories. There may be moments of resistance or doubt, but these are natural parts of the process. The goal is not to erase the past or forget what happened, but to integrate those experiences in a way that allows you to move forward with greater freedom and self-love. As you heal the inner child, you begin to notice shifts in how you view yourself and interact with the world. You may feel a greater sense of peace, self-acceptance, and resilience. Relationships often improve as you release old patterns and approach others from a place of wholeness rather than unmet needs. Most importantly, you reclaim your ability to nurture and support yourself, creating a foundation of unconditional love and self-worth that empowers every aspect of your life. Healing the inner child is one of the most profound acts of self-love. It is a recognition that you are worthy of care, compassion, and healing, not despite your past, but because of it. By tending to this tender part of yourself, you not only transform your present, but also honor the resilience and courage it took to arrive here today. Self-love is the foundation of personal growth, a powerful force that enables us to embrace who we are while evolving into the best version of ourselves. It is not vanity, arrogance, or selfishness, as some might misunderstand, but rather a deep and compassionate acceptance of oneself. Self-love is the recognition of your inherent worth and the understanding that you deserve kindness, respect, and care just as much as anyone else. When we cultivate self-love, we create the fertile ground necessary for meaningful growth, transformation, and fulfillment. Growth often requires us to step outside of our comfort zones, face challenges, and confront our fears. Without self-love, this process can feel overwhelming or even impossible. Self-love acts as an anchor, providing the stability and inner support needed to navigate change. It reminds us that we are capable of handling difficulties and that our worth is not dependent on external achievements or the opinions of others. This sense of security allows us to take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them without being paralyzed by fear of failure or rejection. At its heart, self-love is about building a healthy relationship with yourself. Just as a nurturing relationship with another person fosters trust, communication, and mutual respect, self-love cultivates these qualities within you. When you love yourself, you listen to your needs and feelings without judgment, creating a space where growth can flourish. Instead of harshly criticizing yourself for your flaws or perceived shortcomings, you approach them with curiosity and compassion. This shift in perspective transforms obstacles into opportunities for learning and self-discovery. Another way self-love fosters growth is by encouraging self-acceptance. Growth does not mean rejecting who you are now in favor of who you hope to become. Rather, it involves embracing your present self while striving for positive change. Self-love allows you to hold space for both acceptance and aspiration. You can acknowledge your strengths and celebrate your progress while also recognizing areas for improvement. This balanced approach prevents you from becoming overly critical or complacent and keeps you motivated to grow. Self-love also transforms the way you respond to challenges and setbacks. When you love yourself, failure is no longer a reflection of your worth, but simply a part of the learning process. You become more resilient, able to bounce back from difficulties with a renewed sense of purpose. Instead of internalizing setbacks as evidence that you are not enough, you see them as opportunities to develop new skills, gain insights, and strengthen your character. This resilience is a key ingredient in personal growth, enabling you to keep moving forward even in the face of adversity. Self-love helps you align with your true self and purpose. Many of us are conditioned to pursue goals or adopt behaviors that conform to societal expectations or the desires of others, often at the expense of our own happiness and authenticity. When you love yourself, you give yourself permission to explore what truly matters to you. You begin to make choices that reflect your values, passions, and dreams rather than seeking validation or approval from external sources. This alignment with your authentic self is a powerful catalyst for growth, as it allows you to live with greater intention, joy, and fulfillment. Self-love also enhances your relationships with others, which in turn supports your growth. When you treat yourself with kindness and respect, you naturally extend these qualities to those around you. You become more empathetic, patient, and understanding, creating deeper and more meaningful connections. Healthy relationships provide a support system that can inspire and encourage your growth. At the same time, self-love protects you from staying in toxic or unbalanced relationships as you recognize that you deserve to be treated with respect and care. Practicing self-love is not always easy, especially in a world that often emphasizes perfectionism and external validation. It requires unlearning harmful beliefs, challenging negative self-talk, and committing to habits that nurture your well-being. Self-love is a practice, not a destination. It involves daily choices to prioritize your mental, emotional, and physical health, whether that means setting aside time for rest, speaking kindly to yourself, or seeking help when needed. These small acts of self-care accumulate over time, creating a strong foundation for sustainable growth. Self-love is the key to unlocking your potential. It empowers you to take ownership of your life, embrace your uniqueness, and pursue your dreams with confidence. Growth is not about becoming someone else, it's about becoming more of who you truly are. Self-love lights the path toward this realization, guiding you with patience, compassion, and unwavering belief in your worth. By cultivating self-love, you create a life that reflects the beauty, strength, and boundless possibilities within you. Fear is one of the most pervasive barriers to personal growth and self-fulfillment. It whispers doubts into our minds, magnifies risks, and convinces us to stay within the confines of our comfort zones. While fear serves an evolutionary purpose by protecting us from danger, it often oversteps its role in modern life, holding us back from pursuing our dreams and realizing our full potential. Replacing fear with self-belief is a transformative process, one that allows us to move forward with courage, confidence, and a sense of purpose. Fear often stems from a sense of inadequacy or the belief that we are not equipped to handle challenges. This inner narrative might say, "I'm not good enough, I'll fail if I try," or "what if I try," or "what if I succeed and can't maintain it?" These thoughts create a mental fog, obscuring our vision of what's possible and paralyzing us into inaction. Replacing fear with self-belief begins with recognizing these limiting thoughts for what they are: stories, not truths. By questioning their validity and replacing them with empowering affirmations, we start to shift our mindset. Self-belief is the antidote to fear. It is the quiet, steady conviction that we are capable, worthy, and resilient enough to face whatever comes our way. Developing self-belief doesn't mean eliminating fear altogether. Fear is a natural response to the unknown, but it does mean learning to navigate fear with trust in ourselves. It's the inner assurance that no matter what happens, we have the strength to adapt, learn, and grow. This shift from fear to self-belief creates a foundation for courage and action. The process of replacing fear with self-belief often begins with self-awareness. We must identify the fears that hold us back and the underlying beliefs that fuel them. Are we afraid of failure, rejection, or judgment? Do we doubt our abilities or worry about what others might think? By bringing these fears into the light, we can examine them objectively and begin to dismantle their power. Awareness is the first step toward change, as it allows us to confront our fears rather than letting them operate unconsciously. Taking action is another vital part of cultivating self-belief. Fear thrives in inaction, growing larger the longer we avoid facing it. When we take even small steps toward our goals, we demonstrate to ourselves that fear does not have to dictate our choices. Each step, no matter how small, builds momentum and reinforces the belief that we are capable. This doesn't mean we won't feel fear along the way. It simply means we choose to act despite it. Over time, these actions accumulate, transforming fear into confidence. Self-belief also requires us to redefine our relationship with failure. Fear often arises from the possibility of making mistakes or not achieving a desired outcome. However, failure is not the opposite of success. It is a natural part of the journey. Every misstep provides valuable lessons and opportunities for growth. When we view failure as feedback rather than a reflection of our worth, we free ourselves from the fear of getting it wrong. This shift in perspective allows us to approach challenges with curiosity and resilience, knowing that each attempt brings us closer to our goals. Surrounding ourselves with supportive influences can also strengthen self-belief. The people we interact with, the content we consume, and the environments we inhabit all shape our mindset. Positive, encouraging relationships remind us of our potential and reinforce our self-worth, while toxic influences can amplify fear and self-doubt. By curating a support system that uplifts us, we create a space where self-belief can flourish. This might mean seeking mentors, joining communities of like-minded individuals, or simply spending more time with people who inspire and encourage us. Practicing self-compassion is equally essential in replacing fear with self-belief. Fear often comes with harsh self-criticism, as we berate ourselves for not being braver, smarter, or more capable. Self-compassion counters this tendency by offering kindness and understanding instead. When we treat ourselves with the same care we would offer a friend, we create an internal environment that fosters growth and resilience. Self-compassion reminds us that it's okay to be imperfect and that our worth is not tied to our achievements or shortcomings. Visualization is another powerful tool in building self-belief. By vividly imagining ourselves succeeding, we create a mental blueprint of what's possible. Visualization not only motivates us, but also helps to rewire our brain's neural pathways, reinforcing the belief that we can achieve our goals. When combined with action, this practice becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, as our beliefs shape our behaviors and ultimately our reality. Replacing fear with self-belief is a journey, not a one-time event. It requires consistent effort and a willingness to challenge old patterns of thinking. Along the way, there will be moments when fear resurfaces, testing our resolve. In these moments, it's important to remind ourselves of our progress and the strength we've already demonstrated. Each time we choose self-belief over fear, we reinforce a new narrative, one that empowers us to live boldly and authentically. Replacing fear with self-belief is an act of self-liberation. It frees us from the constraints of doubt and hesitation, allowing us to step into our power and embrace our potential. When we believe in ourselves, we unlock a wellspring of courage, creativity, and determination. We become willing to take risks, pursue our passions, and face challenges head-on, knowing that we are capable of navigating whatever comes our way. Self-belief is not just a tool for overcoming fear, it is a way of life that transforms how we see ourselves and the world around us. By choosing self-belief, we open the door to infinite possibilities and create a life that reflects the strength and beauty of our true selves. Building emotional safety within yourself is one of the most transformative and empowering acts of self-love. Emotional safety is the inner sanctuary where you feel secure, supported, and accepted regardless of external circumstances or challenges. It is the foundation for personal growth, resilience, and authentic self-expression. When you cultivate emotional safety within yourself, you create a space where you can explore your emotions, confront fears, and make decisions with clarity and confidence. The concept of emotional safety begins with self-awareness and self-acceptance. To build emotional safety, you must first recognize and validate your feelings without judgment or suppression. Emotions are natural and serve as signals to help you understand your inner world and navigate the outer one. Often we are conditioned to ignore or dismiss our emotions, labeling them as irrational or inconvenient. This denial creates a disconnect between our minds and hearts, leaving us feeling insecure or fragmented. By allowing yourself to feel and acknowledge your emotions, you send a powerful message to yourself: your feelings matter, and so do you. Creating emotional safety also involves cultivating self-compassion. Many of us are our own harshest critics, holding ourselves to impossible standards and berating ourselves for any perceived shortcomings. This inner voice of judgment erodes emotional safety, making it difficult to trust ourselves or feel at ease in our own company. Replacing self-criticism with self-compassion is a crucial step in fostering emotional safety. Self-compassion means treating yourself with kindness and understanding. Especially during moments of struggle or failure, it is the practice of being gentle with yourself, recognizing that imperfection is part of being human, and offering yourself the grace to grow and learn. Another essential element of emotional safety is setting boundaries. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They are about defining what is acceptable and necessary for your well-being. When you honor your own limits and needs, you create an environment where you feel respected and valued. This practice reinforces your sense of self-worth and provides a sense of control over your emotional landscape. Boundaries also protect you from situations or relationships that may compromise your emotional safety, allowing you to focus on nurturing yourself. Developing a consistent and supportive inner dialogue is another cornerstone of emotional safety. The way you speak to yourself matters. If your inner dialogue is filled with negativity, doubt, or fear, it becomes difficult to feel secure within yourself. On the other hand, a positive and encouraging inner dialogue builds trust and confidence. Affirmations, for instance, can help reframe limiting beliefs and reinforce your sense of worth and capability. Phrases like "I am enough," "I trust myself," or "I deserve love and respect" can be powerful tools for cultivating emotional safety. Emotional safety also requires addressing past wounds and traumas that may have created feelings of insecurity or self-doubt. Unresolved pain can act as a barrier to emotional safety, as it often triggers patterns of fear, self-blame, or avoidance. Healing these wounds involves acknowledging their impact and seeking ways to process and release the associated emotions. This might include journaling, meditation, therapy, or other practices that help you explore and understand your past in a compassionate and constructive way. By doing so, you free yourself from the grip of old pain and create space for inner peace and safety. Another key aspect of building emotional safety is learning to trust yourself. Trust is the foundation of any safe and supportive relationship, including the one you have with yourself. Self-trust means believing in your ability to make decisions, navigate challenges, and take care of your needs. It is cultivated through consistent actions that align with your values and priorities. For example, when you make a promise to yourself, whether it's to rest when you're tired or to pursue a goal that excites you and follow through, you reinforce your sense of trust. Over time, this trust becomes a steady presence, reminding you that you can rely on yourself no matter what. Practicing mindfulness is another effective way to create emotional safety. Mindfulness involves being present with your thoughts and feelings without judgment. It allows you to observe your emotions as they arise, rather than being overwhelmed or controlled by them. Through mindfulness, you develop a deeper understanding of your inner world and cultivate the ability to respond to challenges with calm and clarity. This practice fosters a sense of safety by helping you stay grounded and centered even in difficult moments. Building emotional safety means creating a lifestyle that supports your well-being. This includes prioritizing self-care, surrounding yourself with positive influences, and engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. When you consistently choose actions that nourish your mind, body, and soul, you reinforce the belief that you are deserving of love and care. This lifestyle becomes a reflection of your commitment to your emotional safety and overall well-being. Building emotional safety within yourself is about reclaiming your inner power. It is the process of becoming your own source of support, validation, and comfort. When you feel emotionally safe within, external circumstances or the opinions of others lose their power to destabilize you. You can navigate life with greater confidence, resilience, and authenticity, knowing that you have a secure foundation within yourself. Emotional safety is not just a state of being, it is a practice and a promise to honor and protect the most vulnerable and valuable parts of yourself.